Welcome to Artistic Adventures. We're on part 3 of our Vampira doll project, and today we're going to be creating her hair. Hi guys! Before we get into the video today of making the hair for the Liv doll, I wanted to just take a minute to chat with you about my channel and talk about stuff that I don't usually like to talk about, but it's part of this crazy YouTube business, and just wanted to say that I've been doing this for a little over 2 years now. I've probably been doing it longer than that, but really trying to build the channel and make something out of it for a little over 2 years. I just checked my Google AdSense. That's the money that YouTubers get for the ads that are placed by Google on our site. And I'm in those little over 2 years, I'm up to $97. I've yet to get a check. So you get a check when you get to 100. So in 2 years, over 100 videos, I'm up to $97. So I do know that will increase as I get more subscribers, and that's why I asked that people subscribe. I'm not shy about that, and it does, take, I think, getting into the tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of viewers to really, get to the point where you can make a living, doing this, which is what I really hope to do eventually. But I do spend up quite a bit of money on the channel. I buy supplies to make the dolls and buy, the dolls, etc. And I like doing it. That's, one of the blessings is that I get to do something that I really like. And the other blessing is that I have met so many really nice people through this channel. And your comments to me are worth a lot of value. And it's not money, but it's so uplifting. And everybody is so nice. And I love you guys so much. I love you. I love you. I love you. And really appreciate that you stay positive and there's not a lot of negativity on this channel. I really appreciate that because I see other channels where there is, and it's when you think about the time, effort, and money put into this by anybody, really, not just me, the fact that there are people who make negative comments really, it just shocks me because I think people just don't understand that it takes so much time and effort to do this before you even get to a point where you're making money. It's not, a lot of us are doing this out of love for the crafts and for the community that we get to be a part of, which is very important. And I do so appreciate that. But I did want to say that there are some things that I do need to help me grow my channel now. I really need a camera that will autofocus. As you guys know, that a lot of times I have to reach up with this hand, and focus and go in and out. And I've had this camera for a while, so that's one of the things I'm really looking for. However, when you get into that sort of thing, they get up into the $1,000 range. So what I'm going to do is just going to put this out there for the price of a cup of coffee, like $3. You could make a donation that will help me, and I'm going to put a link in the description box of how you can do that. If you feel so called, if you've enjoyed the videos and you appreciate them and you'd like this channel to continue, you can just follow that link over. It's easy to click on the button and buy me a cup of coffee. It says, but it's really going to go for a camera to get me into a little bit better situation of filming and make better videos for you guys. So I just wanted to start with that. I'll try to add it, if I remember, I'm bad about that, to the description box in future videos as well. And so, anytime that you feel, it's not just for this video, but anytime you can go over and click on that and donate the $3. So I thought about doing Patreon, but it's just too much work when I also have a full-time job to create additional content and programs for that. So, I'm just going to try to make this easy. The other thing is, when I post links to Amazon for items, I do get 10% if you buy anything going to that, after going to that link. And you can actually go to that link for the item. Let's say it's a sewing machine, and then you click over and buy, you know, a box of diapers or whatever. Actually, anything you go to for that, from that link, I get the 10%, even if it's not related. And it's a really small amount. I think I've made about $18 in 2 years, but I haven't really pushed it either. So that's another thing you can do if you see something that you want on Amazon. If you go through my link, it doesn't cost you anything, and it does give me a little bit of funds at the mercy of Amazon to be able to continue the channel and buy the things that I need to give you guys great content. So just a couple of things that could help me out. I'd really appreciate it. And now let's get on to making hair for our live doll. Thanks. Okay, so we have all of our little combed out pieces of Angora fiber, and I've got my trusty E6000 glue. So we're ready to go. We're going to glue some hair on this live doll. And first of all, I got to get her out of this contraption. This is a new stand I'm trying. I've had several different stands, and I really wanted something that didn't go around their waist, so I'm trying a couple different things. Anyway, so what we're going to do really is just glue the hair directly to her head. Usually I make a wig cap, but in this case I want to just start around the edge, and then we'll kind of come up in a circle until we get to the top, which has a hole in it. And I'll talk about that when we get to that part, because you have a couple of options there with this doll. So I'm going to really just follow the same procedure that I use when I do a wig cap, and that is start at the back. I put a line of glue, and then I pick up a piece of my alpaca fiber, and first of all, I always cut off the end to make sure that it's nice and even, so that what I put on the doll is, it's not, I don't know how to describe it. It's just easier if it's nice and even. Just leave it at that. Okay, so what I do is I hold the hair down at the base with one hand, and then I use my thumb to sort of press it up with the other hand. And I do that to make sure that the glue goes all the way through to the top layer, so that all the strands of the fibers are glued. And once you do this with this glue, it's very durable, very, very strong, and it's waterproof. So you can wash it, you can comb it, you can style it. And we'll see how it works directly on the head versus on a wig cap when we get to the end of the process of putting it on here. So I'm starting at the back, and then I just go around to the front, making a, circular motion, and making sure that each strand is fully coated with the glue. And I know some people don't like to touch E6000, but honestly, I've been touching it for years. I've never had any problems. I'm not condoning it by any means, but I do know that the caution that's put on it is actually in California, where they have a lot of extra cautions based on their laws. So that's why the caution is on it. I just haven't had any issues, and I find it difficult to do this without touching it. I can't do this with gloves on. I just can't do it. So, you do whatever you feel comfortable with. And a lot of people use just regular glue, like tacky glue or Elmer's glue or whatever for this. The problem with that is it is not water soluble, and it's not quite as strong as the E6000. So, you can use whatever glue you want. This is just my choice. So I'm just continuing to go around and around, putting circles of this fiber down. This is my favorite alpaca fiber. This alpaca is named Rocco from Alpaca Meadows. I've talked about this company before. They have a lovely farm where they raise alpacas, and they do shear their fur off occasionally and sell it. So this is a sustainable product. It's not using, you know, the hide of the product. It's just using the sheared fibers, and they do need to be sheared because it grows just like human hair. So be satisfied that this is a product that is kind to animals, because I've had some questions about that in the past. All right, so I've gotten up to where I'm very close to the top of the hole there. Now, this hole actually goes all the way through to the inside of the doll head. And if I did this again, I might actually put my middle plug in before I glue the scalp back on that I cut off. If you remember, I did that back in the first video where I did the eyes. Or actually, I guess it was the second video where I did the face up. I'm going to show you a way you can do this afterwards, but I'm thinking that it might be more secure to do it where you can put the hair through that hole and then glue it underneath. I think it will hold a little bit better. This is going to work, but just a couple of different ways that you can do this. And since we did cut that, you know, part of the scalp off and then glue it back on, you know, it's certainly easy enough to do that. I just didn't think about it at the time because I was focusing more on the face up. And here, what I'm doing is putting a rubber band around the top of this hair bunch that I've picked up. It's pretty thick, and the diameter is about the size to fit into that hole. And the reason I'm doing this is I want to compress the fiber, and then I'll be able to cut it and have a nice even piece that I can put down into there, and also a nice even piece that I can glue. So I'll cut that off there right at the top of the rubber band. And then I'm going to take some E6000 and glue that down. So you can see how that plug is going to fit right down into that hole. And the reason we want that is so that we have a piece that will spread out and look natural to cover the areas that are glued. You know, when we do a wig cap, what I do is usually cut a slit in the wig cap and put this sort of extra topping down in there, and then I use it to make a part. So make sure when you do this that you really get the glue down in there to get all the fibers. I will say after I did this, I probably would prefer to put this plug in before I put that scalp part back on. But this ended up working okay, just was a little bit harder to get the fibers down in there, after it's been attached back to the head. So I'm going to let that dry for a while, and now that it's dried, I can come back and cut off the rubber band pieces, and we'll attach it down in that hole. So I'm just going to cut off the rubber band parts. So tight, it's actually too hard to get it off. I really got this one tight. So pull off all those pieces so we have our nice glued piece of hair. And I'm just going to stick my E6000 on top of that hole. But first I needed to clean out. There was a couple of strands that were going across there. I wanted to cut those out so they wouldn't hamper the progress down into the hole. So just put a nice good glop down in there. I want to have a nice adhesive glop so that it will really stick to all these hair fibers. Now if you did this before, of course, you could have stuck the hair all the way through and glued it from underneath. And I think that may be the better way. And I'll try that on the next doll I do. But we're already at this point with this doll, so here's what we're going to do. So I stuck it down into the depressed hole and just going to let that dry for a while. Make sure all the fibers are nice and glued. So now what you want to do is just spread this out in a circle so that the middle part is just a little place where you can't see any glue. So you can see there, it's just like a nice little round spot after you've spread that around. Now after you've glued this, you can actually use this, I use a pet groomer, and I just hold on to the ends of the hair, and you can use that to comb it, or you can use a regular comb. And also, if it sticks up too tight, just use your iron or your little heating element to press it down so you get it nice and flat on top. Just a couple tips there for you. So we've got all the hair on this girl, and this really beautiful fiber, and I think it's going to make a really nice hairdo. I haven't exactly decided what I'm going to do to style her hair, so I'll probably do that at the end of the series. But I wanted to flip it back and just show you, where we are at this point. We've got all the hair on, and once we get it to this point where everything's glued down, what I actually do is go wash it and condition it and let it dry. And that gets all the last little bit of dirt and oils out of it that, the fiber naturally has in it. So you can kind of see from here, this is where we are. I'm going to go wash it now, and then I'm going to show you here. The still pictures show her after I've washed it and sort of combed it over. And I just think it turned out so beautiful. And I love her look. It's going right along with what I want, which is this beautiful vampire that can lure men in and, take a little bit of their blood and continue to live. And just look at how gorgeous that looks in the back. It falls all the way to her knees, and it's such a shiny, beautiful black color. Really love this particular alpaca's fiber and the fact that it's so pretty black. So that's where we are now with the wig. We've got next to work on the costume, and that's going to be really interesting. And I hope that you'll stick around for that. And if you haven't already, I hope you'll subscribe so you don't miss anything coming up. And I look forward to making a video next week. Thanks, and bye.